Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Rhino, and in today's video I am featuring 3 replays for you in the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA. So this French Era 2 premium Cold War light tank for the Western Alliance was reviewed on my channel about a week ago now, and I'll link that above for you. Now, I gave it rave reviews and I've been having some absolutely insane games in it, and I've seen people having multiple sort of 11,000, 12,000 damage games in a Cold War Era 2 light tank, which is pretty damn good. This tank has risen since its inception to the top of the required statistics if you were looking to get the 3rd Mark of Excellence or the 4th Mark of Excellence, the Gold Mark or the 100% Mark of Excellence, whatever you want to call it. So if you're looking to get the 3rd Mark of Excellence in this tank now, you're going to be having to average or better 6,500 damage and assistance, or if you're looking for the 4th Mark of Excellence, you're going to be doing 6,800 plus worth of damage and assistance. So pretty big requirements. That just shows that the best players in the game are playing this tank. They're doing exceptionally well, and it's just because it's a mix of being low profile, pretty nice mobility, but exceptional concealment, best in class ATGMs with exceptional penetration and exceptional alpha damage. These ATGMs really do hit so damn hard, and you often ammo rack tanks, set them on fire because they are such high damaging ATGMs. I've ammo racked so many tanks that I'm sure you might see a couple in the replays in today's video. These ATGMs have 1,210 alpha damage with a penetration of 660 millimeters, going through pretty much even the toughest armor, apart from all of that spaced armor, composite armor, and the explosive reactive armor. Combine that with the use of the multiple weapon system, where you can switch between the 4-shot ATGM autoloader and the 75mm gun that this tank has, and yeah, you're going to be absolutely laughing. So I'll just go over my commander and equipment setup for you on this tank in case you haven't watched the review. Like I said, I did link it at the start of this battle, and it'll be linked again at the end of today's video. But in terms of my equipment, I run advanced concealment, I run advanced powertrain, and I run the traction system. And on my commander I run 6th sense, born leader, rapid loading, steady aim, snapshot, run and gun, camouflage expertise, muffled shot, and green thumb. So enhancing my gun handling, my statistics on the concealment, the reload, 6th sense and born leader as a standard. The mobility, because it does suffer in comparison to quite a lot of the other light tanks, so using both pieces of mobility equipment does improve it that little bit extra and keeps it up the flow of the battle. And I also run the enhanced smoke screen, which means that I do get that passive 20% boost to the concealment to the tank, and also does impede those ATGMs when they are targeting you. So that's the setup that I run on this tank. I've been having an absolute field day in this tank with a pretty good win ratio, playing quite aggressively and dealing a lot of damage. So here on Fisherman's Bay, you've seen me try to get vision out early on, hiding in the foliage, making the most of this low profile tank. I just want to make it make it known again how important I think concealment is, not only in the World War II game mode, but still in the Cold War game mode as well. Yes, there is that true vision, but when you're behind a bush like this and you're using the foliage, if you're behind multiple sort of pieces of foliage hiding in the shadows, you are going to be surprising the enemies and really going to be flanking them. You're going to be getting them to sort of go out in front of you, putting shots into the side and the rear of their tank, and you can really affect the course of the battle by doing that. By being sneaky like that, you're pushing your assistance up, you're getting that extra XP, and you're making that extra silver. So already in this battle, which is a pretty close battle, we've got 3,600 direct damage and 1,508 assistance. Unfortunately, we have missed quite a few of our ATGMs, tanks going unspotted just as the ATGM is mid-flight, but we can still try and make the most of our view range, our concealment, and that 75mm gun. So we're going to come up now and try and flank this Leopard 1A1, get a shot into him, set him on fire, as often these ATGMs do on this tank. Take that tank out, and already that's pushed our damage total to just shy of 5,000 direct damage. We're going to get unspotted, then swing back round so the enemies think we're going back towards the sort of down the eastern side up to the north of the map, but we're going to come back to the middle, try and use our concealment, our view range, try and get forward and spot the tanks for our friendly tanks, because all we can use is our 75mm gun now. Although it is a pretty decent 75mm gun, it does lack in terms of the penetration, and it obviously does lack in terms of that sort of massive chunking of damage you can do with the ATGMs. But you can fire this thing from these kind of distances with your low profile, stay hidden for the most part. On the 75mm gun, if I just get up these statistics for you to talk through them again for you now. So you have a penetration on your standard rounds, which are APCR rounds, of 212, standard premium penetration, I should say, of 231mm on your premium APCR rounds, and your third ammunition choice on the 75mm is HE at 85mm of penetration, and that's for an alpha damage of 290 on HE and 180 on the standard shells. And it's a 6-shot autoloader that reloads with my commander and equipment setup in 8.2 seconds, 3,560 DPM. The accuracy is 0.27, aim time 1.92, and the shell velocity is still pretty nice on the standard APCR at 1,000 meters a second, and the premium APCR at 1,125 meters a second, and the HE falls behind at 753 meters a second. So we're just floating around this middle part on Fisherman's Bay, trying to keep the vision out for our two mediums that are trying to help us in this battle. Unfortunately, we don't have any of those ATGMs, because that would have been an absolute game changer in a position like this, especially when we are coming up against tanks that have a lot of hit points when they are heavy tanks, and there's an FE4-211, which is the absolute bane of everyone's existence in Era 2 of Cold War. I love coming up behind the FE4-211 in this thing and setting it on fire. It's an absolute joy and one of the best feelings that you can have in the Cold War game mode. So we're keeping the vision on these enemies as they're approaching from the town, and we're just trying to get to a position where we bait them towards us in the middle and we get some assistance, but also the opportunity to get shots into their side and flank them. Now I've spotted an opportunity to use the hard cover, come down here, use my mobility to come round and try and get some shells into this I think it was a T-72A perhaps. It was a T-72A. Unfortunately, awful driving by us. We drive into the dead wreck, meaning that we have to pop our smoke, but that's when it comes in clutch. We get a few shots into that T-72A, and now we're just trying to get out of there, making a bit of a distraction, using some of our hit points late in the game, and our VT2 on our friendly team, I should say, takes down that T-72A. So now we're up to 6.3k, or just shy of 6.4k direct damage and 2.1k assistance. We're going to use our mobility here and our concealment and our sneakiness to get around, flank these tanks and cause a distraction. Going to come up behind this FE4-211, try and get some shots into the rear of his tank, make him turn for us. Unfortunately, we do eat a shell there, but that doesn't really bother me too much as this Centurion 9 comes in to help. Trying and going to get into some more shots around the back. Going to have to reload, but it doesn't take too long with this 75mm gun, and we're going to try and help out our Centurion 9, who is doing fantastic things by putting shells into this FE4-211, and we managed to take down the FE4-211 with the help of that Centurion 9 on our friendly team. We finish in second place with 4 kills, 7k direct damage, 2.1k assistance. We get the Mastery Badge, and we get 1,545 base experience points with a nice profit of 338,000 silver, and anything between that and 800,000 silver profit I've seen in this tank. So we're going to head on now over to the second gameplay. So we're into the second gameplay of today's video here in the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA, and we are on Talbang, and in any of my light tanks I'll try and take up the same position when I'm in this spawn. So I'm going to come across to the middle of the map, go down the south along the river, get to the middle of the map, and I'll show you a position that I use in the sort of ravine or river, stream, whatever you want to call it. There's some nice foliage for me to pop up on the ridgeline, sit in the foliage, use the fantastic concealment, the low profile nature, and try and get some vision out for my team, spot tanks that are crossing the south and the eastern part of the map, maybe get some assistance and try and get an ATGM into an unsuspecting target that likes to sit where that M60A2 is, right there, or where I'm looking right at those heavies just to the right of me here. So we're going to pop up here. You can sit in the bush to the right of me. At the moment I'm sort of playing with fire a little bit. I've got a little bit of foliage in front of me. If someone sees me, I could be taken out within a couple of shells here, or an ATGM if the team are paying attention. But this is why I was saying concealment is so important in Cold War. When people are scanning for you, they're obviously exposed themselves. It's very hard to see a low profile tank like this in the shadows and foliage, and I'm utilising that to my advantage, trying to get some view range off and trying to get an ATGM off into someone unsuspecting that's sat up on one of these hills. So we're going to sit here for a while. I feel like no one's shot at me yet, so I haven't been spotted. I'm just going to be scanning the horizon, scanning around without moving my hull as much as possible, trying to sit in this bush, and then we're going to try and get an ATGM into that Leopard 1 that has just gone out, but I'm pretty sure he's going to come back up. We spot him with the True Vision system. He doesn't have a warning with the ATGM, and we get a lovely shell right through that Leopard 1. And with the amount of Leopards in this game, the amount of AMX you can pick up is quite ridiculous, and that was a lot of fun as I record that clip to show my friends, as Xbox says right there. So we're sat out here 250 to 220 meters in front of tanks that didn't spot me until I fired. I kept the smoke screen just for that moment. I'm going to try and reload our ATGM while we are behind this smoke screen, and then hopefully we've either baited someone into the open, or we can come over here and get a shot into the side of one of these heavy tanks on this hill on the K5 position. We get an ATGM on the move there into the T72 M1. Going to put a few shells with the 75mm into the side of him, but he gets a shot into us and jams our turret. One thing about the AMX 13 is that if you do get shot, there's a very high likelihood you will be set on fire. This thing goes up like a Christmas tree. If your fuel tank is damaged or your engine, I highly recommend you repair it as soon as possible, because if someone shoots it again, you will more than likely go up in flames, and that's even with the smaller caliber guns. And I've been set on fire so many times in this tank. You might want to consider running something in your equipment and commander setup to help you reduce the chance of you going on fire, but it's a risk that I'm willing to take to improve my mobility and my concealment. And if I get sat on fire, that just is punishment for me playing this really powerful tank. But already in this game, we've picked up 6.2k direct damage and 516 assistance, and we're going to try and just chase the damage now. We're only one tank up, but I feel like we're in a better position. We have the cap circle, or the enemy cap circle, on lockdown. We take out their Sheridan, which is an extremely powerful light tank, with an ATGM on the move there. And this auto-loading, full-shot auto-loader of ATGMs is just so devastating with the 15-second intra-clip reload. We're going to hide behind this cover here, come out from the side that I'm hoping they don't expect us to come from, and the FV4211's got his rear into us, and that's an absolute joy. Unfortunately, we just damaged his engine and we didn't set him on fire, but hopefully he's still facing the wrong way, and we're going to try and get another shell into that FE4211. I'm thinking about pushing onto that bridge here, but we're having an exceptional game so far. We still have 2 ATGMs left, and I was going to see if I could push my damage total in this game over the 10k mark. So we're going to try and flank this FE4211, wait till we get unspotted, but unfortunately he is coming this way. This is where the poor traverse of the AMX 13 comes into play here. A bit unfortunate there, we only did track damage with that ATGM to that FE4211. Those tanks deserve everything that comes their way, but we're going to put some shells with our 75mm in, get a final shell into the rear of that tank with our last ATGM, taking our damage total to 9.6k direct damage and 516 assistance. So now I'm sensing a fantastic opportunity for me to push my damage total beyond that 10k mark. We only have our 75mm left. We have a broken gun and 800 hit points. We take out that Leopard 1A1, and now we're going to come up against this T72, and here you're seeing the trouble with the penetration on these light tanks. We are firing the premium APCR there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the kill, but we did get a few shells in, and now there's only 2 tanks left. We have our clip reloaded, and we're just looking for where the damage is going to be. So we're going to head on over here to the Leopard 1A1. We know that this game is all but won, and I'm just hoping that this Leopard 1A1 doesn't get taken down before we get there. I should really have been firing earlier on the move there if I wanted to get past the 10k mark. There is a VT2 over there, which is most likely going to finish that Leopard 1A1 with 1 shot. It looks like he might have rammed the Leopard 1A1 there by accident. And now we're just going to try and get the kill. We're not going to be able to get past the 10k mark, but it's still a fantastic game nonetheless. And that's it for that game on Chow Bangla in the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA, where we finish in the MVP slot with 4 kills, 9,889 direct damage, 516 assistance. We get 4 kills, 362,803 silver, the mastery badge, and just going to be moving my way up towards that first mark of excellence and having an absolute blast. So we're going to head on now into the third and final replay in this tank, and again demonstrating how powerful it is. So you're joining me here in the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA for the third and final time in today's video. We're again on Fisherman's Bay like we were in the first gameplay of today's video, and we're coming from the south spawn up to the middle of the map and just trying to get some early vision off, maybe try and bait some tanks into coming into the south, pushing too far and getting them taken out. A great tactic on this map when you are in a light tank is to go where my friendly light tank to the right of me just went, on the E line. However, you do have to be careful you don't get rushed like he is doing. You just got to make sweeping movements. You spot out towards the north, or in my opinion the better sort of tactic is to come down this one line, use these ridge lines and the foliage here to just pop up, get shots into tanks that are sat side onto you in the centre of the map, or sort of spot out towards the north and tanks that are trying to move into position in the north. And again, just showing there with an ammo rack on that Leopard 1A5 how powerful these ATGMs are. If you don't deal 1,250 alpha damage, you are more than likely set them on fire or just ammo rack them. And within the first couple of minutes, we're already up to 3.6k direct damage and 1,017 assistance. And there's nothing really that 1A5 could do about it. He didn't spot me until it was too late, until the ATGM was, just meters from the front hull or the side of his tank, and yeah, he's taken out of the game. So now we're going to push over. I noticed that we've got an abundance of tanks to the west side of this map, and we're just going to try and clear this side out. Coming up against this Hiss here, which can be a dangerous tank, the Arctic Hiss, because it also has an auto-loading ATGM capability as well. But we do get a shot there on the move into that Hiss. We set him on fire, taking him out, but we get set fire in return. Like I was saying, this thing, I don't know, I just suddenly changed accents. This thing does get set on fire extremely easily. And yeah, if you get an engine damage or a fuel tank, just repair it, because if you get shot in that same place again, you're more than likely going to get lit up like a Christmas tree. So as I was waffling on there and changing accents, we've pushed our damage total to just shy of 6k direct and 1,000 assistance. We've made that initial push, we've pushed down that western side, won that, we're in the cap circle, and now this game is firmly within our grasps. And this just shows you how quickly you can rack up the damage. Sometimes I go through games just not having to fire my 75mm gun, much at all, only really when I'm trying to finish a tank off or when I run out of ATGMs completely. But with Cold War and the pace of the games, if there's a really exceptionally quick game, then you run out of those ATGMs. You can't run out of those ATGMs very quickly, and you don't have really the opportunity to reload more than those 2 magazines that you get. So we've only got 2 ATGMs left. I'm going to try and penetrate them both. Again, like the last replay, I was hoping that I could push my damage total over 10k. I haven't got it in the AMX 13 yet. I was hoping to get a few 10k games to show you all, but this is sort of the next best thing. These, especially the second and third replay in today's video, just prove how devastating this tank can be and how much of an impact you can have. This T-72M1 doesn't realise there's an ATGM heading his way, but fortunately he gets the front of his turret round to face me, and that doesn't penetrate, meaning that we miss out on that 1250 alpha damage. So I'm going to try and make my next ATGM work. There's an FE4211. I'm going to wait until he is side on, get the best chance, aim for the rear of the tank, hopefully set him on fire. We do damage him, but we don't deal that full 1250 damage, but you know, it still pushes our damage total to over 8.3k direct and 1400 assistance. Using our smoke screen to get out of trouble, reload our 75mm primary armament, and then we're going to go back in now, just be really aggressive, circle these tanks. I've loaded the premium because I'm going to need it to get through even the side of a lot of these heavy tanks, and even the premium isn't enough to get through the side of things like the FE4211 unless you are firing through the front drive rail. Now we're going to just get reloaded, come back in, come round to the rear of this FE4211 and try and get as many shells into the rear of this tank as we can. We've got 2 shells left. I'm going to go in and see if I can do any ramming damage. I think we get pushed by a friendly into the FE4211, but it doesn't really matter. We have a cracking game there, and that one was won before I went in for that ram anyway, which is a silly idea in this tank because it weighs about the size of an A4 sheet of paper. So 4 kills in that game, first class mastery badge, 1566 base experience points. MVP in that game, 9k direct damage, 1417 assistance damage, and just shows you what a fantastic powerful tank this is with a 606,000 silver profit, and I believe that's without any boosters. But I hope you enjoyed this replay and the demonstration of how powerful this tank is. I hope you're all having a great week. Thank you all so much for all the support, and until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.